will get this second meeting for January started. It is January 21st. It's a Tuesday because we had a holiday yesterday. I hope everybody that got to enjoy a holiday enjoyed their holiday yesterday. So as we always do, we will start by standing for the prayer and then the Pledge of Allegiance. God our Father, we are all your servants. We trust in your mercy and love. We trust also in your guidance. Direct the meetings of this council of North College Hill to make good decisions for all the people who live in our city. Give all the members of this council wisdom and insight to know what is best for our city. Help us to be fair and just in all our decisions. Bless us all to do the very best we can. With your help and guidance, we pray this in your name. Amen. Amen. Call this meeting to order. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, good evening again. We are shorthanded this evening, so quickly I'll run through the list. Ms. Alexander is unable to be with us tonight, as are Mr. Dieters, Mr. Hedger, and the mayor. So they will not be here. So I'll be doing some double duty. So if it takes me a little longer to do things like I normally do, it's because I am also clerking tonight. So, but we'll get it done.
Mr. President.
Ms. Underwood.
I move that we excuse Ms. Alexander from tonight's meeting.
We'll do that after I call the roll, but you wanna hold on and do that?
Yeah, I gotta hold on to that.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Trying to get through it, huh?
All right, so I will call the roll. Ms. Zorb.
Here.
Ms. Gaston.
I'm here.
Ms. Chichester.
Here.
Ms. Alexander. Mr. Wilson.
Present.
Mr. Davis.
Here.
And Ms. Underwood.
Here. Mr. President.
Ms. Underwood.
I move that we excuse Ms. Alexander from this evening's meeting.
Mr. President.
Mr. Davis. Or
That's okay.
Mr. Wilson, sorry.
I would like to second.
All right, motion by Ms. Underwood, second by Mr. Wilson. To excuse Ms. Alexander, any discussion? I will call the roll. Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Gaston?
Yes.
Ms. Chichester?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. All right, you have tonight's agenda.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
I move that we accept the agenda as presented.
Mr. President,
Ms. Gaston?
I second.
Motion by Ms. Underwood, second by Ms. Gaston to accept tonight's agenda as presented. Any discussion? I will call the roll. Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Gaston?
Yes.
Ms. Chichester?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
That motion also passes 6-0. Okay, we have minutes from the regular meeting on 12/16 as well as the special meeting on 12/27.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
I move that we accept the minutes from December 16th, 2024, and December 27th, 2024, as presented.
Mr. President.
Ms. Zorb, was that you?
That was me.
Ms. Gaston, sorry.
I second.
She beat you.
I second.
All right, motion by Ms. Underwood with a second by Ms. Gaston to adopt the minutes from the 12/16/2024 and 12/27/2024 meetings. Any discussion? I will call the roll. Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Gaston?
Yes.
Ms. Chichester?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
Yes.
Motion passes 6-0. All right, communication, we did have a packet for Mayor's Court for December, so that was the communication for tonight. That'll take us to council committees, starting with City Community Development and Recreation.
Mr. President,
Mr. Wilson.
City Community Development did not have a meeting. Our next meeting will be on the 27th, special meeting from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m.
Thank you. All right, Budget and Finance.
Yes, we had a meeting last Monday on the 13th where we covered the 2025 fire levy. Interim Chief Plackey, Fire Chief Plackey came and gave a presentation. We discussed the November monthly close, Rumpke Waste. We gave an update about remediating the 1500 building. And I think that was about it for Budget and Finance.
Okay, your next meeting?
February, bear with me, I want to say the 10th, but I'm not 100%.
Yeah, I don't have my calendar up, sorry. I'd help you.
Let me,
That would be the 10th, correct?
will be the 10th. Thank you, I appreciate it.
Thank you. Next is Rules and Public Policy.
Thank you, Mr. President. We met on January 13th at 6 p.m. We talked about possibly moving back to 1-hour meetings because the half-hour meetings we don't seem to be getting things done. We talked about the recommendations from the Planning Commission and that we plan to schedule a meeting so that they can address the committee and talk to us about their recommendations and some other things that they would like to address to the particular committee. We talked about the Charter Commission and how we plan to move forward with that. And I believe that is all we covered. Our next meeting will be the second Monday in February at 6 p.m.
February 10th. Thank you. And Public Safety.
Thank you, Mr. President. We received an update from the police department. He talked about, Chief Cheney talked about how just kind of overall for 2024, kind of what the numbers were. He sent us a report where he discussed that. We also heard from the Fire Chief Plackey about what's been going on at the fire department, the new fire engine, and some new equipment that the fire department has engaged, as well as the number of runs total that they had in 2024, just how everything is increasing. So we also briefly discussed the fire levy and how that's coming up, and we just need to work on just kind of getting timing with regard to that so that we can support the fire department through that process. Nothing from Public Works, but we did thank Public Works for their hard work. We talked about how they actually slept in the Public Works building so that they could work on the snow the day we had the huge snowstorm. So they really did work hard to clear the streets. And our next meeting will be the second Monday in February, which is February 10th at 6:30 p.m.
Thank you. Next up is ad hoc reports. Does anyone have an ad hoc report to give this evening? Hearing none, we'll move to administrative reports. The mayor is not with us this evening, but I believe you have something from her. Ms. Dukestein?
Yes. So Mayor Nichols submitted a statement for me to read for you all and our citizens in response to an email received from a citizen regarding the investigations of Chief Ryan Sharan and Lieutenant Petroselli. In March of 2024, both men were placed on administrative leave. Sharan was placed on leave by myself, Mayor Tracy Nichols, for allegedly creating a hostile work environment. Lieutenant Petroselli was placed on leave by Interim Chief Cheney for allegedly creating a hostile work environment, which is in violation of North College Hill Police Department Standard Code of Conduct 320.5.7 efficiency, unsatisfactory work performance, including but not limited to failure, incompetence, inefficiency, or delay in performing or carrying out proper orders, work assignments, or the instructions of supervisors without a reasonable bona fide excuse. Both investigations were handled by different parties. Petroselli by the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, and Sharan's investigator was retained through Emis and Button's law firm. Although the investigative piece for both is complete, this process is still ongoing and being handled collaboratively by attorneys of each party. At this time, the position of the City of North College Hill is to allow legal entities to continue working on outcomes for all parties involved that will result in resolution of these accusatory findings. Some of the details in this investigation cannot be publicized due to many factors that would hinder the progress of accurate resolution. And then, so that was a statement that she gave. She also wanted to, or submitted to me in writing, then she also wanted to talk to council or address council about the need for appointments for CIC. We need elected officials. So if you are interested, please send her an email and let her know.
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood?
Ms. Dukestein, I just have a question about CIC.
Yes.
Is that still run by the same individual, or is, can you just give us some more information about CIC?
Currently, it is still being ran by the same individual, but I do believe that they're going to have a shift of leadership. I'm pretty positive that the president will step down, and then there is another president in lieu. So we have some change of leadership up and coming, and we need 2 council members. I know Ms. Underwood, you and I talked, but if there's anyone else, we definitely need an elected official on one of those, another one.
Mr. President.
Ms. Zorb?
Ms. Underwood, aren't you on the CIC now?
Well, sort of, kind of, but I was, Mr. President, I'm sorry, I would like to answer her question.
Go ahead, Ms. Underwood.
I had a bit of a boycott there because I don't like going to meetings where I feel like I'm running on a hamster wheel. Like, I'm making suggestions and nothing's happening, making suggestions, nothing is happening. So my time is super important. Everybody's time is, but nothing was being accomplished. Nothing was being done. We literally were meeting and just talking, and nothing was being accomplished. So I just decided that I didn't want to participate under those circumstances. But I am interested if we're going to be able to accomplish something, because in theory, CIC is very similar to other organizations like 3CDC, and we really could accomplish quite a bit for the city of North College Hill, especially considering the fact that, you know, this city is eligible for grants and funding that can only be funded through organizations like CIC. So I really think that with the right kind of movement and just, what's the word I'm looking
Progress.
for? Right. We can, you know, so I would be interested in that, but, you know, I'm not interested in meeting just for the sake of meeting. So,
So I have a follow-up.
yes.
Go ahead.
Because to my knowledge, you were still officially on it. So had you officially resigned?
Mr.
Because
Pre-
if you haven't, then I think you're still on it.
Oh,
Mr.
okay.
President,
Oh,
sorry.
Ms. Dukestein?
She is officially still on.
Yes.
In defense, they had not met in
Okay.
a very long time,
Mr.
maybe
President.
8 months.
Okay.
That doesn't
okay. So,
take away your
Right.
seat.
okay. Okay. Well, fair enough. Thank
Mr.
you
Wilson.
very much.
Well, I would like to speak up, and you said I need to email her. All right. Well, let me send that out now.
Mr. President,
Ms. Chichester?
Ms. Dukesteen, do you know what day or frequency they meet?
Yes, they meet once a month on the third Thursday of each month at 6:30.
Okay.
And sometimes that'll change, maybe to the fourth, depending on availability,
Right.
quorum.
Ms. Dukesteen, does that conclude the mayor's report?
Yes, sir.
Thank you. That brings us to the city administrator's report. We'll turn it back over to you, Ms. Dukesteen.
Okay, so I have quite a bit that I want to report on. So I've seen some kind of conversation out there about SORTA, and I wanted to officially say that on 2 occasions I did speak with SORTA, and one was at a Cincinnati city event, and the other was actually prompted by me. I reached out, and currently, SORTA is trying to work with the Roses parking lot. They're trying to go forward. No deals have been officially made. They want to be here in North College Hill, but I just want to make sure that we are aware that they are working deals to try to create a hub here, and hopefully that will go forward for SORTA. They are going to leverage the city's help or efforts if we can kind of initiate and continue their current pursuit. But to date, we don't have anything firm. They're just still hoping, and part of that was some of our delays, some of their delays. They had reached out to the city under different administration to try to kick the can down the road, and then they had some other sites that took precedence over committing a site here, and then there have been delays with actually securing a location. So all of that is a part of urban planning, and it just takes time sometimes. So I just kind of want to speak to that. And then there were also some inquiries about the Cincinnati Enquirer and the potential of a lawsuit towards the city of North College Hill and the records request. And I wanted to just affirm that Mr. Bill Dieters supplied me with a list of things that we needed, probably about 20 things long, back in December. Literally the second day I was here, and I was able to the administration was able to satisfy those requests in totality. If there is anything else, it would be in addition to what they have been asking for, which we're happy to supply. So we're just waiting to hear back. There was a lot of information given to them, and I think right now they're at a pause, filtering through that information to see if there's anything else that they do want, or the information is in completion to what they were asking for, because some of the details were quite extensive. So I just wanted to give an update on that. And then the potholes that we're going to receive as a result of our snowstorm is huge. So Public Works is currently looking for the filler that goes in the blacktop to make sure that we are going to be driving safe soon. To be clear, I've already started receiving complaints about that. The potholes, majority of them are filled with ice and snow still, so we do have to wait until it's warmer. It will be ongoing and consistent. I just wanted to kind of let you guys know the status of our roads. And speaking of roads, I have a meeting with JMA this week where we will talk about the scheduling for Oak Knoll, Baywood, and Corcoran Place. And so those are scheduled. I think the first on the list is Oak Knoll. And then we will proceed with those other streets. I know a lot of citizens are wondering because of the extensiveness of the damage on those streets. And then just keep in mind, we are still looking for a public works director that is posted in several places, and definitely on our website. So if you know someone, please do send them to our website to apply. The fire department has been interviewing and hiring, so we're going to be bringing some people on soon. I'm excited about that so that we can be fully staffed and take some of the burden off of our fire department. Not only were they operating limitedly because they did not have all their staffing needs met, they were, as you can see, their numbers increased. The police department will follow as soon as we get some of the things worked out. And then our finance department is working on our year-end close. We have not yet opened up our process for paying things out. You have to close out the year. So then at a point, and I think we open back up next Monday, where we're starting to pay bills again. We have to cease all financial activity in order to give us a chance to close out record. It's normal. So we will be opening up that spending again. And then shortly after that, you should be hearing from us the 1st of February for the Hinkle report. And then I have a note on here for CIC. CIC, I think if you guys are interested, from my perspective, just in the last couple of meetings, they are really trying to get on board and help support the city in the same way that 3CDC does for Cincinnati. I feel like that even if you are not an appointed person on the board of or the commission of CSE, you can come out and just support the movement of it. I was able to talk to them about receiving some of our grant dollars that can't come directly to our city for them to help manage, and we're creating processes so that we can receive resources through them and they can help allocate, which will open up our grant receiving world to a whole lot. So just wanted to give that as we're making a little bit of progress in each place. So that is all.
Thank you.
Mr. President.
Ms. Zorb.
Thank you, Ms. Dukestein. Just to add a little more context, it was, like you said, under previous administrators, when the whole SORTA thing was being talked about, at first it was talked about that they would buy the land, and then they pushed back on NCH and said NCH needs to buy the land, and that was a non-starter for us at the time. So I know that's why it kind of got squelched for a minute. I just wanted to add more. Sorry.
Thank you.
Yep.
Mr. President.
Mr. Wilson.
Quick question for Administrator. The CIC, do you have the current information, like meeting information for it?
The third Thursday of every month is starting at 6:30, and they usually try to go an hour, hour and a half.
Okay, so.
And it's in the senior building.
It's here. Okay. All right.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Next is Law Director's report. As I mentioned, he is not here this evening. And then the Finance Director's report, and the Finance Director is not with us either. So we'll move to call of members, starting with Ms. Zorb.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing at this time.
Thank you. Ms. Gaston.
I just wanted to thank Public Works for all their hard work that they did over the past couple of weeks, in addition to just restating that my kids had a lot of fun with the ice skating and buying from the vendors. I look forward to that again next year, or this year, because it's 2025. But other than that, I have nothing else.
Thank you. Ms. Chichester.
I have nothing at this time.
Thank you. Mr. Wilson.
Just want to say thank you to all the North College Hill residents and employees.
Thank you. Mr. Davis.
Okay. Real quick, just want to plug Motion NCH. That's going. Our next meeting is February 13th, 2025, 6 p.m. here at the senior building. This month we'll be discussing the ownership conversation. Basically, what do you care about when it comes to your community, and what are you willing to invest in when it comes to your community? That's the ownership conversation. So once again, Motion NCH, February 13th, 6 p.m. Each one, reach one. Thank you.
Thank you. And Ms. Underwood.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have nothing at this time.
All right. Thank you.
I agree.
All right. We will move to our portion for remarks from the audience, and we have Ms. Kathy Curitan.
Good evening, Kathy Curitan, Devonwood Drive. Miss Dukestein, can you clarify again the names of the attorneys that you mentioned in your letter, please? Not your letter, the letter from the mayor.
You want to?
I would like for you to publicly rename the attorneys mentioned in the letter.
The attorney firm that the attorney's firm that was listed here is Enos and Britton Law Firm.
And that representation is on behalf of who?
I'll read that part again. It says
Okay.
both investigations were handled by different parties. Lieutenant Petroselli by the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, and Sharan's investigator was retained through Enos and Britton Law Firm.
Shrans, say that word one more time.
Sharan's
Mm-hmm.
investigator was retained through Enos and Britton Law Firm.
Why would there be someone who is a partner for Bill Dieters retained to investigate someone of the city? That's a conflict of interest. I'm not looking for you to answer, but maybe you can. That's most certainly, it's almost to say, I'll leave that up for your own interpretation. And if you all knew that going in the door, maybe you didn't, maybe they didn't. But if the mayor knew that, and if Bill Dieters knew that,
Mr. President?
you, excuse me for just a second.
No, I have to stop you.
Excuse me for just a
No,
second.
No, the law firm retained the investigator.
Right.
The law firm is not
Then
the investigator.
Thank you for clarifying that. Her letter doesn't state that, though. If you're stating something different, her letter doesn't state that.
That's what her
Ms.
letter
Curitan,
says.
hold on.
Sure.
Please read the statement again.
Thank you, sir.
Okay. It says both investigations were handled by different parties. Lieutenant Petroselli by the Hamilton County Sheriff's Department, and Sharan's investigator was retained through, I said Enos, and I'm going to correct it here. It's Dennis and Britton Law Firm.
And
Okay, so if you're saying it's Dennis and Britton, that's different. Originally, you said Ennis and Britton, and Mr. Bill Dieters works for Ennis and Britton. Those are his partners. So can you spell the name of the attorney's office, please?
It's DENNIS and Britton, BRITTON.
Do you have an address listed there?
No,
Okay.
this letter was,
The letter was written by the mayor?
yes.
Okay, and can you advise the date of the publication of that letter?
The publication.
Was it
is-
something that she's not going to publicize?
No, she's not planning to publicize, and she emailed this to me today.
Okay, is there a way for that letter to be made public to the residents of North College Hill? I mean, it's public right
hold
now
on,
because it's
Ms.
on.
Ms. Curitan?
Yes, sir.
It's been made public. She read it.
Right. So what I'm asking for, maybe let me clarify that. I'm so sorry, and you're correct, sir. A written copy. So, for example, the city has multiple ways of communicating information to its citizens. Not everyone is watching. Not everyone is able to hear the letter. So, is there a written copy made available? That's the question.
There is not, and the mayor is not here right now to
Okay.
tell us if that's going to happen.
Got it.
So
Thank you.
Please
Yep.
move on.
Yep. No problem, sir. Thank you for clarifying that. Ms. Dukestein, can you clarify if there were any auditors here in the city within the past, I'll just say January 2025, at the police department, the fire department, administration, or any other areas of the city?
Yes.
Yes. And can you name the state, was it the state's auditor? And what was the reason of their visit?
The Hamilton County Sheriff's Auditor's Department was here.
Hamilton County?
And they were at the police department.
Okay. Were there any state auditors there?
No, we have not been contacted by the state auditors
Okay.
yet.
Okay, not a problem. Can you also advise if you know the reason that RWB has not made any progression on the project from 2019 on Goodman Avenue?
They actually have made progression. They
Okay.
reached out to us to give us an update
Oh, good.
after my reaching out to them to see what the progress was.
Okay.
They were stalled by some materials,
Mhm.
and they will be, the weather is what's impeding them currently.
Okay, good. Do you know if there's an estimated start date of their project for completion?
Because the weather is what's
Mhm.
impeding their progress at this time, I'm not sure.
Sure. And then, Ms. Chichester, I did receive your email response. Thank you for that. However, I am a little bit concerned that your response to me after 7 days is stating now that you forwarded on to another party. Mr. Wilson, you work for the city of North College Hill and you work for us. Rude, condescending laughter is not appreciated, so please stop. Ms. Chichester, you responded to the email, and I appreciate that response, but your response was that you sent the email to someone else to respond. So can you maybe share why was that not stated in the beginning, that you were going to forward it to someone else for a response?
I forwarded on because those were not questions privy to me to answer for you. I thought I could go back and look at means and then give you an answer and give you clarification.
Okay.
When I found out I cannot answer those fully and completely for you, I sent them on to someone else. Sorry, I do apologize
It's
for the
okay.
delay. I did take time this weekend for my family and
Okay.
community volunteer service. So
Absolutely.
I did not work on it this weekend, and I
Sure.
did forward it to this evening to the
Sure.
other parties.
And what are those parties, or who are they?
I forwarded them on to Ms. Dukestein, and I think I might have CC'd the mayor.
Okay. So you're saying that I should receive a response from the mayor and or the city administrator answering all of the questions in the email to you?
Give them time. I just did
Oh,
it.
sure. Okay, great. And then my very last
Yeah,
question.
you have about 30 seconds.
Yes, sir.
Ms.
Not a
Kearsley.
problem. I'll hold on then. Thank you so much.
Mr. President,
Ms. Dukestein.
Mayor Nichols is watching, and she sent me a message to correct it. The law firm that is handling it is ENNIS and Britain
Innocent Britain.
Law. Yeah.
Okay.
I just wanted
Thank
to
you.
make sure that I correct. She said that it was auto-correcting.
Okay. We have no one else signed in, so we'll move to legislation. Tonight, we have second reading for ordinance number 8, 2024, an ordinance to amend and establish salaries and staffing levels for city employees pursuant to the requirements of Section 3.06 of the City of North College Hill Charter and declaring an emergency. Next up, we have further remarks from the audience as it pertains to this second reading of ordinance number 8. Then we will move to old business. Anyone have any old business this evening?
Mr. President,
Ms. Underwood.
I just want to kind of make an announcement about the Charter Review Commission. I will be sending an email to the individuals who have been appointed so far. I believe that just to schedule the first initial meeting so that we can then schedule meetings from there. So those individuals, and they know who they are, should just expect to receive an email from me.
Thank you. Anyone else have any old business? Hearing none, we'll move to new business. Anyone have new business this evening?
Mr. President,
Mr. Wilson?
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I'll give you that here in a minute. Any new business? All right. Mr. Wilson, please make your motion.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make the motion to adjourn.
Mr. President,
I'm going to give it to Ms. Chichester.
Thank you. I second that motion.
Okay, motion by Mr. Wilson to adjourn, second by Ms. Chichester. Any discussion? I will call the roll. Ms. Zorb?
Yes.
Ms. Gaston?
Yes.
Ms. Chichester?
Yes.
Mr. Wilson?
Yes.
Mr. Davis?
Yes.
Ms. Underwood?
yes.
Motion passes 6-0. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone. Stay warm.